Hey guys, I want to show you a little trick that I just came up with today that I think is pretty cool. I'm working on these tiny little brownstone buildings here, and I want to paint the windows. And getting in there with a tiny little paintbrush is one way of doing it, but quite frankly it would be a pain in the ass. So I came up with a new technique here. I actually use a syringe full of the blue window paint that I want to use. I've actually taken my Dremel tool and cut off the very tip, so it's a blunt tip now, and I actually just go in and drop a little blue paint into each one of these holes, each one of these windows. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's a whole lot easier than using a brush and neater. And if I have to come back later and touch up some of the window sills, that won't be a big deal. And also the most of the cross pieces that divide the bottom and top windows, most of those are getting painted over in this process. Not all of them, but most of them are. So I'll have to come back and touch those up. But I think it's a huge head start over painting each one with the blue. I'm going to go ahead and put on my magnifiers here so I can see what I'm doing and just show you how easy this works. Just a little bit in each one. It kind of spreads out. I've mixed the blue paint with a couple of drops of the Vallejo flow enhancer, thinking it might thin it out a little and help it to flow out naturally. If I just let this sit for a second, it'll flow out into, all the corners, and if it doesn't, then I'll just go back and add a little bit more. But that's all there is really to it. Let me add a little bit here. And I don't even have to press down now. I'm just kind of moving around the paint that's in there. And see, that would have taken me probably at least 5 minutes or so with a tiny paintbrush to do, and it's pretty much done. I'll have to come back and touch up a few tiny spots. I got to do the door still. The door has tiny little windows in it too. But as you can see, there's 3 buildings done in just a couple of minutes, and they'll just need a little bit of touch up and they'll be ready to go. So it's kind of a pretty cool idea I've stumbled onto here. So this syringe here is a 3 ml syringe with a pretty heavy gauge needle. If you had a smaller one, maybe even one of those like little, I think they're called insulin syringes, they have really tiny needles, that might even make it easier. Just be real careful cutting off the very tip of it so it's blunt. It might make it easier. I'm finding that with this, if I just push a little bit on the plunger, I get a hell of a lot of paint coming out. So I got to be really careful with it. But still, it's a pretty cool technique, I think, for getting these windows painted very quickly. And I'm going to use this a lot, I think, now that I've discovered it. Even on like these buildings here. Anything where the window is inset a little bit, I think this is going to work out real well. And that's the way I'm designing all my buildings right now. With the windows, they're inset about 10 to 20 thousandths of an inch. So this should work pretty well. So there's a quick little painting tip for you on tiny little 2/85 scale building windows.